So I never expected Trump charging into a goblin's nest to not get some goblin vomit and slop and blood on him. I just don't want to catch him in bed with a goblin. But if he's in there rolling around hacking him up and he's got a goblin guide, you know, taking him into the cave, I'm not expecting him to not get dirty, especially up to his ankles. I don't want to see him kissing goblins, having political succubus with goblins. I don't want to see him ingratiating goblins. In fact, Google Pentagon planned gay bomb. They've got chemical hormone sprays that they can spray on a man. And you immediately begin releasing chemicals in your brain where the smell of men through your olfactory nerve makes it uncontrollable that you want to jump on top of them like they're Marilyn Monroe. There it is, BBC. U.S. military pondered love, not war. The U.S. military investigated building a gay bomb, which would make enemy soldiers sexually irresistible to each other. In rodent studies, within one day, the rats even stopped eating. They just began fornicating immediately. And just the sickeningness in the videos of Michelle's daughters twerking to this, inducting their daughters into big, fat, horrible goblin creatures, you know, that are sitting there teaching people how to be nothing but whores. You give up a little bit of freedom of action. You let me tie your arms and legs up. I'm going to take real good care of you. You understand me? There's no world government. We love you, okay? And when we're not knee-deep in blood rituals, we're going to take care of you. All right? I'm showing you their spirit. You'll not get away from America. We almost had you. They're all just panicking. This Jones tells it like it is. His spirit trumps us. What do we do? They're in panic mode right now because I see them for the scum they are, the little gremlin rats. Nellies going, kill everybody. I get off when I talk about cutting people's power off. I'm a Nelly. Just simpering control freaks in big nerd packs, taking everything over, ruling everything, becoming police officers with weapons, tasering us for fun. I've had it with control freaks and scum. You people are cancer. All right, I'm not in a good mood now. I start thinking about Bill Gates up there with that little chicken neck, hopping her now, a little murdering eugenicist. You know how he walks like a demonic elf. Hey, Bill Gates. We know we're under attack. We know it. We're breaking the conditioning. We're coming for you, globalist. Coming for you. Coming for you. We know what you're doing. I'm sorry. I mean, Noam Chomsky, they have this whole leftist university-funded combine that exposes the corporations and how they run it and how it's bad. The answer is more big government, more leftist institutions. You know, he tells you the truth, but then the answer is tyranny. And then he says owning guns is racist and all this stuff to conquer us. And then he says the Republican Party has become the most dangerous organization in world history. That's right. To the technocrat scientific group that's creating a breakaway civilization and is the truest form of elitism and racism against the entire of humanity. And Noam Chomsky has been down the bowels of this thing, a veritable gnome, pissing on everyone. And he thinks he's better than you, and he can't stand you're almost out of his grasp. He just cannot stand the Renaissance. It is burning him up at every single level. True that Russian TV takes what we say word for word, and Japanese TV, and all the others, and mainline talk radio and Congress, because we know what we're talking about. We broke Benghazi first. We broke it all first. It's not that the Russians take their orders. They know truth when they hear it. We're kicking your ass up one side and down the other, you little arrogant, pencil-necked, establishment, fake liberal, fascist dirtbags. This is messing with the family, messing with normal biology. The globalists admit it, and I'll say it. Leslie Cochran is one of the most famous, quote, transgenders in U.S. history. He looked like I had an office by his house for many years, didn't know that when I got to office. Part of the reason I left was because of the annex that he was engaged in. I'm going to leave it at that. They worship him as a god. They want to put up a statue to him. And, sir, I first met him before I even had an office mine at Access Television. And they would have the Christian groups complain, but women's groups, all the people that had shows complain because he and his cohorts would go in the women's bathroom, in the men's bathroom. They were obsessed with bathrooms. And these are men with beards with their teeth falling out, bombed out of their brain on drugs. He would be in there shooting up heroin so much he was vomiting everywhere, and he finally got thrown out of the restroom because of it. And this is their god, a guy with a beard in a thong or a cheerleader's outfit, vomiting everywhere. And he was just, I mean, literally like a demon creature out of hell. A demon creature out of hell. I was around him for 6 years. I had bad luck. He'd be at Access TV, and then I had my office. And, oh, my God, he had a house. He posed as homeless 2 doors down. And I got to enjoy it. Believe me, I know. And it's like bathroom trolls. And him and his friends would go in there, and they would just, and we know it was heroin because they admitted it. Just stumbling around, projectile vomiting, falling everywhere, children walking in. There's 2 guys. One of them was like 6'5", with crap running down their legs. I mean, they were constantly crapping on themselves. I mean, I'm sorry. It was hellish. This is their god. If they can force this on us, they can do anything. Excuse me. I believe Hillary Clinton is a giant intergalactic tapeworm that traveled here via the 9th dimension and is actually wearing a rubber mask. In fact, let's play the video for TV viewers just of her up there on stage when she puts the rubber mask on and turns into the Joker. Why do you think the giant worm chose the Joker mask?
Well, you know, it's a certain look, right? I think as a giant intergalactic, multidimensional, ethereal tapeworm, she's going to want to look a certain way, you know? And if that is the case, which I'm sure it is, I'm sure there's researchers have concluded that she is, in fact, a tapeworm.
Well, I heard she also carries all those cat worms that are in the brain, and she just vomits them into the school lunch program food.
Thanks for having me.
Why do you want to deport me?
Well, we did it as a way to bring attention to the fact that we have all of these foreigners and the Russian government, the official Chinese government. Mao said political power goes out of the barrel of a gun. He killed about 80 million people because he's the only guy that had the guns. So we did it to point out that this is globalism, and the mega banks that control the planet and brag that they've taken over, in Bloomberg, AP, Reuters, you name it, brag that they're going to get our guns as well. They've taken everybody's guns but the Swiss and the American people. And when they get our guns, they can have their world tyranny while the government buys 1.6 billion bullets, armored vehicles, tanks, helicopters, Predator drones, armed, now in U.S. skies, being used to arrest people in North Dakota. The Second Amendment isn't there for duck hunting. It's there to protect us from tyrannical government and street thugs. Take the women in India. Your piece earlier on CNN I was watching during Anderson Cooper's show didn't tell you that the women of India have signed giant petitions to get firearms because the police can't and won't protect them. The answer is, hey, wait a minute, I have FBI crime statistics that come out a year late, 2011. 20+% crime drop in the last 9 years. Real violent crime, because more guns means less crime. Britain took the guns 15, 16 years ago, tripling of your overall violent crime. True, we have a higher gun violence level, but overall mugging, stabbings, deaths, those men raped that woman in India to death with an iron rod 4 feet long. You can't ban the iron rods. The guns, the iron rods, Pierce, didn't do it. The tyrants did it. Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand? And that's why you're going to fail, and the establishment knows no matter how much propaganda, the Republic will rise again.
So Overman does this whole fake teleprompter read. You can tell he's reading a teleprompter that he scripted. And he does it in a low-tech looking environment to sound like he's grassroots. And he flips out. We're going to analyze this piece here, and basically calls for war with Russia and says America's under attack. America's under attack by the consortium of globalists, the EU, the Pope, the communist Chinese president, the Saudi Arabians, who all bragged that they financed Hillary illegally. That's the foreign powers, the illegals coming in, the government opening the borders to do it. America's under foreign attack, and it's not by the Russians. Americans woke up of all race, colors, and creeds. We came together. We want change. And Trump's starting to deliver it with jobs. He's getting the top corporate people that know how to get it done. He's co-opting the establishment. He's scaring the living hell out of them to the point they've got the CIA rising up against the American people, illegally lying to you about who was involved in the election. The American people kicked the butt of the bloodthirsty, communist, murdering Chinese. The American people kicked the butt of the bloodthirsty, oppressive, slimy House of Sod royal turds. We kicked the EU's slimy socialist globalist butt. We kicked the Democrats' butt. We kicked the Republican establishment's butt. The sleeping giant is rising. But ho, 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 green giant.